Hey Steelers Nation, welcome back to the channel. It's Week 1 vibes, and today, Coach Mike Tomlin held his weekly press conference. He previewed the opener against the Jets, hyped the defense, and dropped some gems on the team's direction.
Really excited about getting our season started against the New York Jets. Before I get into those guys, I'll give you a quick injury update. Thankfully, as we sit here today, and really just based on the structure of the preseason and how it's set up, it's done so that we all get an opportunity to kind of move into the season as healthy as possible. Not having a game last weekend helps that. Derek Harmon is the only guy at this juncture that I would characterize as out. I would characterize Herbig as questionable. He had a really good day yesterday, and so we'll leave the door ajar for him and see where work leads us during the course of the week. Certainly, his participation and the quality of his participation will be the key variables in terms of our decision making, whether or not we choose to use him or not. Other than those two instances, man, we're largely a healthy group. Certainly had some bumps and bruises associated with preseason work, and some people have been non-participants in games. Some of it due to injury, some of it due to precaution. Some of those guys have been working their way back. Alex Highsmith, for example, and others. But we don't anticipate any of those guys' availability being in any way questionable. You can include Calvin Austin, for example, in that discussion. And so we got a relatively healthy group, excited about that. We had some really good quality work yesterday, getting the weekend off of us, working on some football conditioning, some base football things that are us, some things that are base New York. And so with that, I'll get into talking about New York. Certainly there's some challenges in week one, schematic personality, division of labor, agenda, if you will. I think it gets magnified sometimes when you have a new staff, and particularly a new staff with first-time coordinators, like on the offensive side of the ball for them. But to be quite honest with you, if you've been in this business any length of time, it's almost kind of commonplace with this time of year. We were very much in the same circumstance 12 months ago, leaning in on week one. We were getting ready to play the Falcons. They had a new staff, a first-time offensive play caller, and so we had to do some speculating there. And so it certainly is a challenge, but not one that's unfamiliar with this time of year. There's enough, obviously, for us to work on, and the component of week one football is not necessarily about who you play, but how you play, the quality of our play, the cleanliness, the technical expertise, the minimizing of penalties and things of that nature oftentimes determine quality performance in week one. And so make no mistake, we got a lot of respect for the challenges of preparing for and then ultimately playing the Jets. But like most people in week one, our focus is the quality of our work, the quality of our play, our division of labor, our ability to display situational knowledge and execute and make quality plays within them circumstances, etc. That being said, I'll start talking about the Jet offense. Man, you got to start first with their running game. Man, they got a deep and talented backfield led by Hall and Allen. If you look at the history of their staff, those two kind of represent maybe what Gibbs and Montgomery represented to the Detroit Lions. And so we've been looking at it through that lens. Make no mistake, they're both very capable. Allen really burst onto the scene, I thought, a year ago as a rookie out of Wisconsin. He's got a downhill run demeanor and style. The pile always seems to fall in the direction that he desires it to. Breece Hall is multi-talented. He can run inside. He can run outside. He had a lot of explosion plays a year ago on the perimeter. He's good out of the backfield in the passing game, check downs, but beyond check downs, in one-on-one matchups and so forth, aligned outside of the backfield. He's displayed that skill set. And so we certainly got to be ready for that component of play. He broke a check down for 57 or so yards on us last year that really kind of changed the complexion of that game early on, when we had already had an anticipation of his talents in that area, and he was still able to deliver. And so their running backs and their commitment to the running game, I think Coach Glenn has been very transparent about their desire to run the football and their commitment to doing so. And so that has our attention as we prepare. You can't talk about the run game without talking about Justin's physical abilities in that area and the challenges that it may present to us. Certainly, he didn't do a lot of running by design and so forth in the preseason, but it's reasonable to expect there to be some design running game. He had it in Chicago. He had it with us. I think if you got a guy with his type of talents, it's somewhat common sense to have some design run game for the quarterback position to make people play 11-on-11 football. And so certainly his unique running abilities and skills in that area has our attention, whether it's design runs or ad lib, if you will. You can't talk about the run game without including his unique talents in that area. In the passing game, certainly Garrett Wilson is a talented and emerging player, one that has an extended relationship with Justin going back to college, and so we have respect for not only his talents but their relationship that extends beyond the current team development. I would imagine that a lot of the passing offense and so forth is going to go through him. I've heard a lot of quality reports about Mason Taylor, a guy at the tight end position I think they took in the second round. He was highly regarded in the draft as a capable vertical threat, a major component probably to any passing game, and certainly have heard really good things about his development in this team development process. And so we got to be cognizant of what he's capable of for sure. But they got a collection of other guys, Lazard and others, man, that have been around, Reynolds, who got NFL experience and certainly, are to be respected in terms of the schematic component of playing matchup football and minimizing that component of play for them. They are in their venue, and so we got some things to manage in terms of that, their ability to communicate at the line of scrimmage and make checks, and us being in position to do similar things if they get into some check football. Venue is a component this time of year, and certainly they'll have that at their disposal if they want to get in and out of stuff at the line. And so even though it's week one, we better carry enough schematics to match that potential strategy from a defensive perspective. Looking at the Jets defense, first of all, Steve Wilks has been around a long time. I've competed him against him a lot. Arthur Smith has competed against him a lot. When he was in Carolina, Arthur was in Atlanta, for example, I think in 2022. But Steve has been in the North. He was in Cleveland, I think, in 19. He has a mode of operation, one that is highly respected. He's an experienced guy. He's going to be aggressive and fundamentally sound. He'll do a nice job of utilizing the players' individual talents and putting them in position to win and being multiple. But taking a step back from all of that, just looking at their people, man, they've invested a lot in their men up front. Certainly, Quentin Williams is a top-tier talent on the inside, former first-rounder. But you can say that also about their edge people. Will McDonald was a highly regarded first-rounder. Jermaine Johnson was a highly regarded first-rounder. And so you've seen the draft investment from an organization's perspective in terms of producing a quality front. More recently, they've added Big Harrison in team development via a trade from Minnesota. And so you see that they've made a commitment to provide a quality level of talent up front that others play behind. Think a great deal about their linebacker tandem, Sherwood and Williams, man. They're talented, an emerging homegrown group, if you will, particularly as it pertains to Sherwood, man. He's grown up. I think he's a former fifth-round pick that's kind of evolved over his time in New York and been rewarded for that evolution with a big contract. And that linebacker tandem, that second-level linebacker tandem, man, has played a lot of ball together. They both were highly productive a year ago. I'd imagine that to continue to grow and prosper. In the secondary, obviously, Sauce Gardner is a top-flight bump corner, a first-round acquisition, a top draft pick, if you will. They've acquired Stevens, who obviously we're familiar with from his time in Baltimore, to play opposite of him, and so they got a quality veteran corner tandem. They got Cisco, who's new at safety, and so they got some top-quality talent at all three levels. They got a coordinator in Steve Wilks that's been doing it a long time and at a high level, and couple that with the fact that obviously Coach Glenn has a defensive background, and I'm certain that he'll have some involvement and create some speculation issues for us, particularly in week one. As I mentioned at the beginning, there's some speculation associated with this time of year, and the things that he might bring to what they do defensively is something that is a topic of discussion. And so we got a lot to talk about. We have some planning of our own. We got some physical work ahead to ready our guys and to further divide our labor up, particularly situationally. And so we got a bunch of decisions to make, but such is life this time of year, particularly on a Tuesday. But we love all of that. It's awesome to be here. It's awesome to get this regular season started. And with that, I'll pause and open it up for questions.
I'm super excited to start this new season. Drop your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more breakdowns, game recaps, and Steelers news. Hit that bell so you don't miss out. Thanks for watching. See you next time.